Vince Homebrew coming at ya. Hey, it's a Friday, definitely time for a beer, and I've got one that comes to me from the Canadian Sasquatch Brewery. No, that's not the brewery that made it. That's the guy that sent me the bottle down in Texas. And the brewery is actually St. Arnold's Brewing Company in Houston, Texas. And what I've got here is the St. Arnold Christmas Ale. This is a Christmas ale that is 7% ABV. It is 35 IBUs. It's made with 5 different malts, doesn't tell you what, and 2 different Pacific Northwest hops. The brewery claims to be the oldest craft brewery in the state of Texas, and they shipped their first keg on June 9th, 1994. So, I do want to read off a little fun note on the bottle, though, because it is called St. Arnold. So who's St. Arnold? A bishop of Metz. St. Arnold spent his life warning of the dangers of drinking water and extolling the virtues of ale. My kind of saint. During his funeral, his pallbearers stopped to slake their thirst, but regretfully there was just 1 mug of ale to share amongst them. Then a miracle came to pass. That 1 mug never ran dry, and all the thirsty mourners at the entire gathering were satisfied. Oh, were that true for this bottle here. All right, it's time to get it cracked open and give it a try. Well, not much of a head. You can see what was there is faded quickly and left just a light ring on there. But the color's really magnificent, actually, for a Christmas ale. It has a reddish brown, reddish orange hue, kind of like a ruby color, but with just a little bit of like the brownish, reddish tones in it. And from your side, it just looks like cranberry juice, I gather. But at any rate, it's a beautiful looking beer, so let's get a nose on it. That is rather different. That is rather interesting. Right away, you get the malt, but it's a light malt, but it's mostly like a malt, but you get these spices on there. I get like cinnamon. There's other spices, possibly nutmeg, but I can tell there's some other spices in this as well. It smells red. I don't know how else to describe that. Yeah, it's interesting, and I would say that there's like a hint of like some apple in it as well. It's light. It's light fragrances on it, very light. So you get, like I said, a little bit of the apple, get a little cinnamon. You can tell there's some other spices, hard to say what they are. A little bit of maltiness, just a little bit of spiciness to it. So, all right, cheers. Let's give it a try. This is a 7% ABV beer and 35 IBUs. And it does not taste like 7%. Very, very deceiving, I'll tell you that. Doesn't even taste like 35 IBUs to me. Just the lightest carbonation. I'd say it's a very light carbonation, a very fine but light carbonation. And it's a light end of medium body, kind of very low on the medium end. But the taste on it is what's so unique. It just like the scent, it tastes red to me. It really does. It's not your typical malty flavor. It's a very light malt, in fact. And the spices on it, they're not heavy or anything. They're just there. I would say it's cinnamon is in there, but I would say it's a Vietnamese cinnamon is how I would describe it. Vietnamese cinnamon is like if you take cinnamon, but you had some of those like little candy red hots in it. So there's just like an extra spiciness, but again, very light, possibly nutmeg. It does drink more like an English ale. I don't know about a strong ale, but it definitely does drink like an English ale because it's just very mellow. It's very easy drinking, just a very light tasting beer. Very deceiving again, though, in terms of the ABV. I would have guessed be like 5.5. You could slake this down pretty easily and probably get in trouble very quickly with it being 7%. It's a nice beer. All right, well, ratings. Let's give it a whirl. I'd say for an English strong ale, probably put it in the B+ category. It's very good. I would say probably give it an 88 would be my rating in terms of style for an English strong ale. But for overall, I'm not big on English ales. You know, I like pizzazz. So for my overall is my personal rating, and in that sense, I got to rate it a little bit lower. I'm going to give it an 83. I think it's just at that B to B minus range, right in there. It's a nice tasting beer. It's an easy drinking beer. This is a beer that a few of my friends would really dig on, namely Paul from PA Brew News. I could see Paul, he loves those subtle English styles. He really does. I could see him digging on this one. A fun beer for sure. I know a lot of the guys down in Texas really look forward to this coming out. So here it is. It's the St. Arnold's Christmas Ale from St. Arnold's Brewing out of Houston, Texas. If you can get your hands on one, I understand that some of the laws in Texas are going to change, and it's going to allow distribution out of the state, possibly, and more things into the state. So that's good news for all of you down in Texas. This is Kevin from Clements Homebrew saying life is too short to drink cheap beer. Indeed it is, and I will see you in the next beer review. Cheers.